you're like, this is what I'm doing for the first time. I've never been live in my life. Have you ever done a live show before?
First, except for
So fantastic. Welcome to a show full of goof-ups. And we'll act very normal. We are live, by the way.
we are normal.
We are not. Has this happened?
That is the first untruth that you have been told today.
No, but
That actually makes sense. I didn't expect that to be true really for you, sir.
when was the last time you saw something like this happen?
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the live part.
No. I'm saying
Normal
something like Chandrayaan. Yeah, something like Chandrayaan happening. When was the last time you felt so excited? Chandrayaan 2, yeah.
And launch of the Sky Route recently.
Oh,
The private launch I think. Yeah. Okay. It was good actually. First time after ISRO, I guess they made it much cheaper.
So my excitement is thoda more different, right? My
Yeah.
excitement is more like the excitement I had when I first tried bicycle.
Oh, that kind of excitement.
Yeah. Because it opens up new things, no?
Hmm.
Excitement is कि कुछ और हो जाएगा इसके बाद. Possibilities become infinite when a new thing is done, right, in life. And this time it feels like we are going in that direction, where the world will no longer be the same after we get this shit done.
I think I just asked this question to know how old I am. Because last time I was this excited was when we put an Indian in space. And I was a kid waiting, listening on the radio to see, to hear about all of that.
You don't understand that gives us an idea as to how old you are.
Which is what I'm saying. I asked this question only as if to reveal my age. But so I think if we are properly live, I would like to introduce my friends here, my co-panelists, Ankit Akhori. Ankit Akhori is an advertising man. I don't know what he's doing on this panel.
I am the aesthetics guy, history and poetry guy here.
Hey, let's call you director. That's actually a better title here.
We have Patro sir here. Patro sir is a faculty in physics and maths, so I'm sure he brings a lot to the table. One request to the co-panel. Patro sir is our own Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Please give him a chance to speak. He will take 2 seconds more to speak all this. Then we have Shiva. Shiva also teaches physics with us. And we have Prashant. I don't know. And we have Himtej. Himtej also teaches physics. I don't know why we have nobody from maths today. Sir is there, but the others are absent.
Hey,
Maths guys are like-
I'm willing to represent mathematics to some extent. And Ankit is also willing to represent mathematics.
Fantastic, super. So we'll start the proceedings by asking a very tough question that must not have appeared in any of your JEs or MSETs. And this is on the moon. Why do we call
Second,
the
bro,
moon?
before you start, introduce yourself.
I am Andy. That's all. I have absolutely no qualification to be on this panel. I am a very average, modest if not a below average kid. But my interest in being on the panel is like a kid to ask all questions that an average kid like me would want to ask. That's my role in the panel. Do not pose tough questions. All tough questions belong to me. First tough question of the day that must not have appeared in your MSET or JE. Why do we call the moon Chanda Mama and not Chanda Chacha or Chanda Baba or Chandu Sir or anything like that? Why is he Mama?
I have a hunch about this. I'm taking this answer because I'm supposed to be the guy who's giving this answer. But I have a hunch about this. I'm not so sure because I don't think there is a particular reason for this. But as far as I understand, the story goes that during Samudra Manthan, which is our origin story, Lakshmi came from the sea. Was a result of the Manthan, the Sagar Manthan, and she is called Jagat Mata. Right? Now, moon is also supposed to come from the ocean and then sink in the ocean. It's supposed to be the sun of the ocean. So, if there's Jagat Mata and same origin, ocean, so that's why there is that relationship of Mata and the brother being Mama. So that Chanda Mama wala association.
I also have a thought.
Okay, tell me. Go.
I don't know whether that is correct or not, but I would like to put my thought out first. This is cool, man. Anyway, So I feel like what to say. The moon does the job of a catalyst or an intermediate when it comes to relationships between men and women to an extent. So
Shall I
effectively,
give you a very
does the
simple
Mama
answer?
Ji wala come?
Shall I give you a very simple answer?
Yeah,
I've heard somewhere that moon came from the earth.
As well.
That's
Because in the sense that there was a
Earth
collision
is-
that produced both.
Earth is Mother Earth because it comes from the same family where we eat brother. I say, I don't know if it is scientific, but have you seen the rough breaking phase start?
I think so. That was the
So
intimation that
how
was
it's going to be.
So
Oh,
that's
what's
basically a
happening?
simulation of what's going to be and
Oh, so
how
it
the
is not
past
happening
is.
right now.
It's about
Professor, why are all these things, celestial bodies that come, like the moon, why are they round? Why are they not triangles or rectangles or pizza boxes or something like that? What's the reason?
I can add to your question also.
Add, you'll add? Okay, fantastic. Add.
Why is the child in the mother's womb in a curvilinear shape,
fetal
bean shape inside the fetus?
Because that's the shape of the movement, maybe. It finds a way to sleep, like I find a way to sleep on this
So
one.
it takes its different positions, but normally it is
Okay.
that is equilibrium or energy balance. Spherical shape has the least surface area among all surfaces.
Okay.
All what you say solids, okay, of different shapes. And in that shape, the body emanates or dissipates the least energy. Means you spend least energy to be in that shape.
When you say
That's
surface
the
area, you mean?
surface area. If this is a sphere,
Ah.
this is the surface.
Okay.
So the surface area, if you take any other shape, like
Square.
say cuboid,
Yeah, cuboid.
having the same volume, its surface area will be greater than this.
So, does nature really always try to have the minimum energy in the system? Is that
Yes,
is the reason for
Yes.
this thinking like this?
always energy should be minimum.
Minimum. Right. So laziness is not per se a bad thing.
Yeah, very much, very much.
There's one more point, I guess, is suppose it's like gravity which pulls it together. So if you keep it as a cube also and leave it in the space, right? It pulls off to itself and it will become finally as
Pulls it
this
to the
is like
center.
something like gooey substance or something.
It's a buoy.
Yeah, not like solid basically. Semi-solid.
Semi-solid
or something.
solid.
Yeah, so whichever because you're letting it to and Earth now is like solid. It
But
wasn't
once it
solid
was-
before.
But it was
also
buoy
called
once.
molten.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
molten lava, right? So
Yeah.
the starting
So
phases.
it basically all comes from the formation of solar system. Everything was not very solid, and then when it clumps together, it's basically
When
semi-solid.
it clumps.
Clumps together because in the formation, it's all dust, gas, and substances. They all come together, they clump together, and then this formation process starts. So during that phase, due to gravity, everything will try to achieve this spherical-like shape. So because to reduce, see if you have a cuboidal shape, outer edges will have lesser impact than the middle one. So every point on the planet or any object will try to be at the same distance from the center. That's obviously a sphere. So that's why moon and every other planet is a sphere.
And
When
So the idea here is that the forces which are interacting are mainly distance related.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So this
and
is
that
then
is the minimum energy state.
Correct.
As far as
Yeah.
So this also disproves the flat Earth theory for once and all.
Yeah.
Understand why flat Earth theory does not work. As simple as this: that even if it were flat, it would round up.
I mean,
It would try
this is
to
the
for the straight
main
would round
example.
up, right?
This is the major proof for that.
But don't
We
believe
are
in
landing
these
on the
conspiracy
moon.
theories. Everyone. Yeah.
I think
Right.
the lander descent has begun. I hope we see some visuals somewhere.
There's still time. I think there's 3
It
minutes.
has, they're saying that it has.
Started descent.
Yeah. Where do you see 3 minutes somewhere?
Oh, it's already rough breaking.
Ah,
30.46,
that is where we see
yeah.
rough breaking.
Rough
Right?
breaking.
What is rough breaking?
So rough breaking is a phase where currently Chandrayaan 3 has 4 propulsions or 4 engines.
Okay.
So all of them will be in reverse and it will fire. So currently, to go to moon, we need to achieve a very high velocity to be able to reach there. But we can't go with that high velocity to land on the moon. So we have to reduce that velocity. To reduce that velocity,
Like almost how Iron Man does it.
yes, exactly. But Iron Man has only 2 in the legs.
Oh,
Now we
I
have
see.
all 4. So
Landing
exactly
trajectory.
that. So the engines are firing in the opposite way in its current velocity direction.
You can see.
So propulsion or the lander is going to the right, but engines are also firing to the right. So it will reduce its velocity.
I think this is the right time to ask another question. What is the difference between a rough landing and a soft landing? This is a soft landing
So
as
it's
far as I'm
not
concerned.
much precise basically. The major thing, like the major engines 4 are on and they're slowing it down. Precision means it's like pinpointedly it'll be here, right? So it's not that
Will
precise.
happen at a
Later stage.
when you know where
Right.
you want
So
to
where
land.
you want to land and more precise. That is soft land.
So is this what they're calling the 20 minutes of terror?
It started.
It started.
With the rough braking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now we are interacting with another system, which is the Earth, another moon ka whatever, the gravity and everything else that we have.
Even with the rough
So moon
braking,
has gravity.
obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It
yes.
has, but
It has less.
less than what we have.
So any body that has a mass will have gravity. So even you have gravity, but much lesser than the moon and Earth.
So when you say no, I was attracted to that or that person was attracted
That's
to me.
scientifically
That
true.
is
So is
scientific
this that
proof.
type of? Is this the same gravity as chemistry?
No, that was the point.
Mm.
But there is a physical gravity. There is two bodies. Any two bodies with mass
What is
will
this?
have a gravitational attraction.
Rough braking phase.
So this is the expected trajectory, and we are at the green dot.
Okay. And what are all these people doing there? They're remotely controlling something. Isn't
No, they are actually checking. So they have given the rights to it, kept everything
it?
inside.
Rights to the machine.
Yes.
So the machine decides for itself.
Right.
It's a kind of automated, kind of
Okay.
not fully automated, but it's automated to an extent.
Would I be right in saying that all these people are as helpless now? Everything is being.
They can manually override whenever
Yes.
necessary.
And they have backup systems. So
So we learned from
something
our,
is completely out of control. They take it.
so we learned from our mistake in Chandrayaan 2, and we corrected that. So actually, the plan was to postpone this for 4 more days if it didn't go well. Before that starting stage begins, we had a chance to postpone it. But now there is no postponing, nothing else can happen except to decide where to land at that final stage.
Can I ask a technical question? And I know, no offense, sir, but I know your knowledge is also not there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have worked in ISRO. You would not have.
Yeah, I would be
worked in
sitting there.
But there is a x and y axis there.
There is a very
That
definite.
says altitude and downrange. Any idea what?
Yeah, how much
This is what I guess you were asking. It's at a height of 30 kilometers.
Okay.
The horizontal speed, is 1200, meters per second. And because of moon's gravity, the speed is increasing now. It's around 19 or 20 meters per second.
So this horizontal has to decrease
Horizontal has to become 0. Vertical has to slowly become 0 before it lands.
So it increases first. The horizontal continuously decreases. Vertical increases first. Then again it decreases.
because all of this is
So
happening.
meters per second is how many kilometers per hour?
So into 18 by 5.
Into 3.65.
Into 3.6. So when you say is it 25.72, that is about 75.
No, currently it's at 1200 meters per second. So
It's
in
1
1 second it is
kilometer
traveling
per
1.2 kilometers. In 1 second, yeah,
In 1
1.2.
second it is.
Yeah.
1.2 kilometers in 1 second right now. So it has to come down to 0 eventually.
With that speed, you can, I guess, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in a minute or so, a little more than.
Like that.
No, dude.
Yeah, currently it's 1000 meters per second. So 1
Yeah.
kilometer per second. We have already reduced.
Can someone Google and check if Shiva what he's saying is right? Because it just blows me.
Yes. So 30 minutes.
So kids, if you are traveling to your school maybe 30 kilometers away, you will reach in 30 seconds with this speed.
But that's the problem. How do you slow the kid down? Because they'll be very happy to pass the school and go.
No, so I will give a very. This is my understanding of a landing. So what is happening here is landing and gear. So if you have seen a lot of movies, especially American-made movies, when they show their aircraft carriers,
Right.
So when the planes are landing, they have what you know as parachute landing, because the runway is very small.
Yeah.
They have to have something to stop
They have
the
bungee jumping.
bungee jumping, but ulta. It's upward, right?
Ulta. Basically,
So
they
when you're
grab the thing.
landing, the moment it hits the deck, the parachute opens so that there is a braking mechanism and it does not crash it. I want to understand from you guys what is happening here in that sense, right? What is this process of landing?
So as you said, right, on Earth that is fine, but here atmosphere is denser, so we can use the parachute kind of a thing. There the density, the whatever atmosphere is very light, so that doesn't work.
That is a basic question.
I have an
have,
actual.
Hitesh. How do you know what is there? Who's telling you what is the density?
Again, good question. Moon, the size is small, gravity is small. Whatever atmosphere layer is there, it is light. Earth, the size is big, density is more.
But the precise calculations are all theoretical.
Estimates are theoretical. Precise calculations will come from missions like this.
Previous missions.
Previous missions and missions like
This
this.
is
will give us
literally a
more.
case where nothing like this has ever been tried before.
Why is
Because
but there are 3 other countries that
Yeah.
have already got.
So, but most of these landings that have happened on Moon are what we know as hard landings. So, the concept of hard landing is we just have to go and crash land.
Okay.
You do not put so a lot of
That
the
doesn't make
missions.
sense, bro. Because ultimately, when you look at Apollo 11 and all, those guys went in.
Correct, 100% correct. So, I'll say a lot of so out of 14 or 15 missions that have gone, 10 or 12 are hard landings. Because soft landing is much more difficult. So it's only in 2018, 19, when 14 when China made its first proper soft landing on the far side of the moon.
Already done a soft
Yeah.
landing.
So now what we are trying to do is not only do a soft landing, but do it at a place which is also very, I'm sure will come out in the discussions, which is also very unique and niche and has a challenge level higher than any other people who have tried it. But the hard crashing has given us something else. We now know the internal structure of moon
Because of the hard land.
because of the hard landing. So America did a hard landing on purpose. So hard landing hua, there was a small earthquake, no, moonquake, right? Not the earthquake, right?
Some seismic.
Some seismic things happened. They studied that to figure out what is the internal composition, how does
So
it.
effectively,
That's
वहाँ
the
पे
hard landing.
एक hit मारा and after the hit happened,
So what you're saying, I just cross-checked. You're right.
That is
Only
no
3
nonsense.
countries, Russia, US, and China, have done a soft landing before.
And
So
I just want to add, why is it damn difficult?
why is it damn difficult?
Right. So it's like hard landing is just like leaving a ball.
Imre, just before you ask why is it hard, you don't need to tell me. Because I find it hard to even drive a remote car with a remote. So I'm sure this must be infinitely more. But why is it hard? That hard.
So you're exactly right. So car actually goes on a flat surface, left, right. We are not doing up, down, and all.
Correct.
So that is the decision we are taking, front, back. But here it is in space. Even little thing comes, hits it, or little extra propulsion, it will just go around, right? So it gets amplified. So it's really difficult to take that decision.
And are you saying that decision is being taken by
Yeah.
by
And
By
these
the
people are
machine.
checking is every step is going according to plan or not.
So in Chandrayaan 2, we didn't have that capability. Now the machine itself can decide where to land and how to change its parameters to land correctly.
how do they actually test all of this if there's so much of money being spent? You can't be going blind there, right? Is it has it learned to are they testing it in some lab that has
before
gravity,
going
that
there.
has moon's gravity kind of a thing? Is it?
Right. So if you just keep something in a lift and accelerate it down or let it down, the G effectively reduces.
I think
That's
the
in a lift,
landing-
they do it underwater actually though. Underwater, when you look at it, the buoyancy basically ends up giving that kind of a. It has a drag feel as well, but what to say, underwater is where they generally train astronauts. I do not know about the actual instruments there, because the instruments are going to be far more
Reaching the
delicate than
10
astronauts.
kilometer mark under 10 8.7 is that the altitude?
Currently, we are at
8.5
kilometers.
is the range.
and we come down to 400
Yeah.
meters per second.
horizontal velocity is 400.
But if you notice, the vertical velocity is still increasing, guys.
Now it's a little decreasing.
It's like,
So it
think of it
started
like
with
this.
20. The one last time we were checking was 20. Now it's around 16.
And now again,
Because
As rightly said, it will now decrease. I think the velocity will now decrease for the soft land.
so again at around 6.5 or 7, I
Yes,
think around this
angle
time we
will-
will take decision.
But it
Is
builds
that
the
simulation or is it? Is it
We are
It's
getting
simulation.
Oh, the graph could be right.
the graph is our prediction that this should happen for everything to go right. And the green dot that we are tracking is our current
Actual
position.
current position.
Okay.
Oh, the smaller one, the inbox that is there.
Yeah, that and even here, this is the prediction and this is the correct.
Current position. So we are within 5 kilometers now, guys.
And so, yeah.
What is this
So we are almost on
fine breaking phase now?
And this
Oh,
is
so
what
rough
we should be
breaking
aiming
phase
for in
has-
terms of
You passed that, is it?
No, we are still in that phase until it reaches this vertical.
No, but it says fine breaking phase there.
Oh, it's in fine breaking phase.
So rough breaking phase, which they said was the most difficult, we have crossed that.
Yeah. This
This is
last
the speed
final
last
descent is the most difficult phase.
One of those things is the idea
That's the
of.
When we slow down the vertical,
I think this is the point
that
where
is
we
going
should
to be the key.
we should tell us about the fact that one of the problems of moon landing is the fact that moon is made up of craters.
He is made up of craters.
A lot of them, right? So the problem of landing on the moon is not just landing on any
Sequence of
surface.
fine breaking stage.
Yeah.
3.2.
See, now the vertical velocity is coming down from 60 to now
Yeah.
20, 28 as the vertical velocity.
But
around the
Prashant, when
moon.
you were saying that you were saying that this is the most difficult phase, I was laughing because what is not difficult? Which part is not difficult in since the last 40 days?
Okay.
So from once it goes from the Earth's atmosphere till it reaches the,
So we have already done
everything
it,
is automated, so we can deal with that.
Did they say it's going to take half hour for the descent?
13 minutes.
No, 13 minutes since the time the descent started.
Few more minutes, 17 minutes or something.
If this becomes zero, along with this, then we are
All
good.
of them have to be zero at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
If these
No,
two become zero
this
and
might
this is
become-
not zero, it will just fall down.
Something must have gone right. They are clapping.
But that means
Yeah, I said
fine
right,
breaking
so
will
Fine
be
breaking
finished.
shuru.
So they will be kind of now it is starting in Brian now in some time, and it will analyze the situation and take the call.
I have a very basic question. What is the kind? Why should a country spend this kind of monies on space exploration, on landing on the moon? What will we achieve? That kind of money would be better buying tomato or something. Why is it? Why do you need to spend? Is it under 1 kilometer now?
Yes, it is under 1 kilometer. We are able to land. You can see it's in
So this
vertical
is-
descent phase. So
So
horizontal velocity has completely become zero. Or at least it should be.
No, they're still firing it slowly.
Yeah.
Can
we
explain this to me?
unmute
I
it,
understand
please?
the propulsion when
Can
they
we
bring.
unmute?
Propulsion.
Vertical velocity is zero now.
Propulsion is already that's already broken up. These are the final thrusts.
Mute over.
Vertical descent phase 1.
Nice.
Wow.
Half kilometer.
This is more stressful than a T20 match. Fingers crossed.
कितना कम हो गया है?
This is almost
Wow.
zero. That's good. Let's hope this also becomes zero.
No, it will go
Just
slow.
like a helicopter. Man has an edge. They are just similar. Slowly coming back.
हाँ उसमें हाइट से तो नीचे जाना तो हाँ
We can actually see the moon surface on that ये.
Oh,
That is the
live, is it?
live stream of the
This
mission.
is the life.
oh this is
Wow.
live from
Yeah.
Life from Chandrayaan. You can see. So now it will decide where to land.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
this
have-
is already
we have gone
Reach
to
the-
navigation wala scene.
so the system
The altitude.
Vertical
Final
velocity is
landing.
also less than
Gravity
2.
is taking the
It
decision
will be
now.
fine if it is less than 2 because of its shock absorption.
It has to be less than 2.
Yes.
It's not less
And
than
it should be
less
0.
than-
150
should be
meters.
Did you see like
So last.
Is this the hovering phase you are talking about? No.
Yeah, so it
Near
is
to
now
zero.
figuring
Now
out
it is zero. Yeah. Is there a criteria or I have factors to take call and
Vertical is 0.
well, exactly what the 150 on this will happen. It will hover, take picture and go.
oh perfectly उसी type का plan था
Exactly
क्या
150
Yeah, now
and
it's
it will
again
get.
falling down.
But it is again increasing it so that it should
Come
not
into
fall
this.
down.
इसको जाना है कि and go.
It has
saying
decided.
retarget?
It's targets to
Oh, that's why
You see the house on the this something.
and
we are
maybe someone not be happy.
60,
yeah,
let's go.
at least
do you
you
know
know
how
how
many
many directions
sensors are working now?
Just so you all
Yeah,
know,
otherwise how
if we land here, we are the first country to land on the south pole on the moon. First.
Okay.
We will talk about the significance of that once
yeah once I
it is over. We have a lot of chat about.
No, again, this is increasing.
Yes, not coming under 50. You can
Under
50,
35 तो अभी properly करना पड़ेगा अरे 50 meters में feeling bro उतना ही है
Nice.
No, it's
No, no,
increasing.
it will decrease.
I decrease now
The height of our building
हाँ उतना ही है
oh,
from the surface.
हाँ
3-floor building.
Yeah.
yes yes yes
Wow.
So
So now we listen to they don't like look like the people from movies. Yeah, they look so normal. Yeah. Right?
Correct.
So going back to our conversation. I was very intrigued by your first country to go on the south of the moon. There are only 3 countries that have gone. But what is there a significance of the South Pole?
yeah. So South poles, they have craters
You have a moon.
which are, yeah, so they're kind of really dark. Even sunlight is not reaching them, so it might be really cold.
So South Pole is actually at the bottom.
Yeah, so it's like that, and it's really cold. The craters, because they are down, right? It's not flat. Flat means it might be receiving sunlight. So they are deep. There are areas where it might be really cold, and all the gases which were there, volatile gases and stuff, are in a frozen form, and they are like older. Their age is equal to moon. So now on Earth,
What is equal to moon? Age.
the
The age.
age of water substance in the volatile is. Whereas on Earth, most of the things have eroded, so that we have very few, stones and things which are equivalent to the age of our Earth, or you know, the formation of solar system. So to know that the composition, how it was before long time back. So this is going to be a very wonderful proof for us.
So
Analyzing
how
this.
does it know what is there?
That
How do we
actually,
know what is there at all?
that actually is something which I can help you out with over here. That is because the actual lander carries two devices called spectrometers.
Spectrometers.
Spectrometers. These spectrometers are basically like how to. The best way to look at it is like Superman's X-ray vision, so to say.
Okay.
If you're looking at how his X-ray vision works, he can basically X-ray through things, and he can basically get the image back as to what is that. So, for instance, if I'm going to be having something inside my body, let's say, he can basically see my body. Then, if he wants to see beneath, he can see beneath also one more level. That is basically a principle where he's using these things called X-rays through his eyes to see the object. Now, in this spectrometer here, it is going to be something which will take a small sample of the region. As he mentioned just a while back here, this is the place where there's a possibility of water being there in the form of ice. There is at least some possibility of it being
all
achievable.
this we will only, our scientists will analyze with visuals, or are they heat maps?
No.
They
They
know
are
what is there.
actually going to be taking a sample from the soil of moon there,
Okay,
and they will basically be having these two boxes, which you can think of as they are called spectrometers. They look like a simple box.
so
A
they're
small
going to
box.
they're going to analyze it there on
There on
the,
the
and they're
spot.
going to relay the data.
And then they're going to relay the data. That's effectively how it works.
How so there is a rover
Mhm.
that will now, whenever it will come down, it will take a few hours.
Correct, yeah.
Yes, it will take a few hours. How long will the rover be on the moon? As in, it will keep on moving forever.
No. So once it comes out of the moon, it has an inbuilt battery. And currently we are at the South Pole where sun can't reach. So its battery will last for one lunar day, which is 14 Earth days, or 14 to 15 Earth days. After that, its life is done. Its purpose will be solved, and it will remain there forever until we ourselves go and reach the moon and take it back.
Just like Martian.
Is that the reason why nobody ever landed there? Because these
Yeah.
rovers won't be able to run for
There's no
long.
sunlight.
So I also think there's another reason for it, right? A lot of moon landings that have happened at the initial stages of at least the moon landings were what would be historically be called as space race landings, where the objective was less about the science of the moon, more about the fact that I am the first one on the moon. Now,
My first.
my first, right? Now, in last 20 years, especially last 5-10 years, now that idea has become much more prevalent that we have to figure out an alternative way of living. One of the chances is that we want to colonize moon, we want to colonize Mars, we want to do
He
all
is
of
going
this.
the Elon Musk way.
So that's one way of thinking.
So that
We want
actually
to
makes
know.
sense. That is
We
the
already
logical
want
way.
to know.
Right?
What is? Will there be a?
No, that is really one of the reasons why we actually went for the South Pole. Because that is a very good region to colonize on the moon, actually.
There's a good
And-
chance that human life can survive. Can the survival
That is one of the
this
best
possible.
places to
Will
colonize,
it
actually.
also check for oxygen level?
There is no oxygen there.
You'll have to create that.
There is
You'll
no
have to
oxygen
create-
How do you create?
No, chances
That
are
is where the
there.
water comes into play. Because the water which is there,
Which is what I'm saying.
if
there
we
is
can
water,
find water there, that is a big resource over there. Because that is the resource which we need to colonize. Because the water which is present there can then be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen becomes your fuel to basically work your stuff over there, if necessary internally, in terms of say some electrical battery type of scenario, maybe recharging your batteries, maybe I'm not exactly sure how that actually might work out in reality, but that's a possibility. But water is the resource.
in countries, any idea if
this information is shared between
Yeah,
countries?
yeah.
They all
So
know.
far we don't
They all know, and they have all made a
No,
pact.
so if the
actually.
other three are there already,
The data what they have.
the data that they have, the data we have, is it one world that is sharing data, or my
No.
data, your data?
No. It is data-wise, it is shared, but it is not going to be support sharing. For instance, if you look at the Chandrayaan 2, which is there now, that has helped us in the landing gear because that helps as a source to bounce the signals which we use basically. But what to say, that doesn't mean we share it with the Russians maybe. I'm not sure.
So collaboration,
Can
space
I-
collaboration is a very
Let
new
me tell you
concept.
from that perspective. So in any research, whatever is happening, first the exclusive rights of the data will be for the parent institute
Exactly right.
for some years, maybe 3, maybe 5. After that, they does all their research, they publish their results, and then it will be made available for the public or for the entire world to do their research, whichever these initial ones have missed.
Usually, the way that happens, even when you discover new stars, is, say we all have telescopes at home, and I'm gazing and I find a star that I can name it on my name. All this data, if I say, for example, if I trade it with a company, with a country that is there, the country will mine the data for that whatever interim period that you say. It will milk everything that is there, and only when it thinks there is nothing left of this data, it's almost like a sugarcane pulp.
Yeah.
It will give it off to the entire world. You have no idea the number of stars that were discussed out of that sugar pulp data.
Yes.
Sir, Abhi, the location where we are going, na, that was discovered through those sugar pulp data only. Effectively
there is-
speaking, where there's a higher possibility of water. This was basically given out so that there's a race which is started to basically get to that region. So that, what do you say, it's a very expensive process to actually reach these kinds of things.
That
So
was
we
where
need more people trying it
that
out.
is what I was asking. Why do we need to spend this kind of? It is not as if we've reached the South Pole, so we've squatted in the Erebus. I put a handkerchief. This place is mine. That is not going to happen. Why spend this kind of money?
How much money do you think we have spent on this mission?
I don't even know the cost of a kilo of tomato these days. That is beyond my.
वो तो
What have
ऐसे
you
ऐसे
spent?
चलता है यार.
But what must it be?
It is equal to or less in the range of budget of Adi Purush movie.
It's less than the budget of all movies.
Yes. It's around 700 crores. And the scientific discoveries that we are going to make and the space race or being in the elite space club has a mission of its own. Like we have a prominence there. So also the technology that we have developed, it can also be used in some other things in the aerospace industry. So technology, whatever we have developed for the rocket industry will not stay there. It will come down, it will drop down.
Percolate
and-
down to other
Yeah.
stuff.
It also increases our prestige in the military market. India is
Yes.
trying to enter the military arms market right now. And the fact that we are able to land something with this much precision on such a far off region gives our, what to say, BrahMos and other weaponry which we are trying to push to the outside market a big boost actually.
But you know what I thought until you told me the South Pole. I thought we were landing on the other side of the moon. The side of the moon that we can never see.
So the problem
The
is
dark
if you
side.
can't see that side,
I know the dark side I thought was the South Pole, but we only see one side of the moon always is.
Isn't it called the dark side?
So because there is no light, right?
No, I thought that's what the movie was all about. That movie
Transformers.
was Transformers.
Yeah,
correct,
so
yeah.
according to us, it is like the other side is the dark side. That's what in general we
Yeah,
say.
but
So
it-
the actual dark side is the South Pole there,
yes.
right?
So what is dark here? I don't understand that.
So
Why are we
because
defining
you're, yeah,
this?
so it's like this is me, okay, or this is the Earth, this is the Moon. So Moon is rotating about this. Revolution and rotation both are happening at the same time, but the beauty here is both are taking the same time.
What book?
So rotation and revolution. So the time it is taking to go around the Earth and on its own.
Oh,
So it's like 27 days. 28.
1 month, 28 days.
Yeah, lunar month. So as both are saying, it is like we are actually spinning really fast because our time is 24 hours.
okay, this is us.
Right. So our time is 24 hours. So
Keep it here, okay?
yeah. So this one is actually going fast, really fast. right? This one is going slow compared to the speed of it.
Correct.
So
So
this
this
is
is
taking
spinning
one-
really fast.
This is
Right.
24 hours in a 24 hours.
Right. So one day it is doing 30 days में 30 rotations कर रहे हैं. And but this one is taking 1 month to go around it. In that 1 month, you see like this, for you, it is like the same thing you are seeing every day. But if you see from top, it is actually rotating.
So basically, let's say this is the side of the moon that we can see. Now, moon by itself, if you are standing on it, with respect to sun, it is rotating as well. So the other side also will receive sunlight.
So it is not the dark
It's
side.
not the dark side. Other side will also receive sunlight, but one rotation of moon is equal to one revolution around the Earth. So if you are standing on Earth and seeing, by the time it goes there,
Everybody is looking
so
at the
if
same.
it goes
Same
here,
side, yeah.
if it doesn't rotate, you will see the other side. But if it goes there and also does this, then it will rotate.
So they are rotating like
Inside.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are
In
here,
dance, where I think we are both partners are seeing each other's face continuously.
So it is
Very nice,
It
very
is
nice.
moving. It is moving like that.
yes, exactly. So it's always looking towards Earth while rotating about Earth.
So it's like Prashant said just now, it's actually like a dance
Hmm.
where outside people are seeing they're dancing, but they are like seeing each other's face and
Yes, exactly.
So, with
So
respect to
this is-
someone outside,
What to say? I have a question here though. This part of the discussion actually answers the dark. My dark was not really there. The dark which I was not clear about was the South Pole dark there. How is that going to be dark to a greater extent? I mean, I understand this part. I knew this to an extent. But how is this dark
So-
there? How is that South Pole part there?
Let
dark
me
there?
explain that with Earth itself. You have the sun overlap. We have the light
Yes,
here.
perfect.
But this is the South Pole. This is the South Pole. No matter how much you rotate, the South Pole is never getting light here. But North Pole is constantly in the light because of the tilt.
So
Okay,
on
but-
the moon, the South Pole never gets light. Is that
Is there a tilt in the moon?
Not. I
You
have to.
don't-
I have to. I have to search. I have to search for it.
What's your question? Is there a tilt on the moon?
What is the actual tilt of moon?
What is the tilt of the moon? What?
Can you also find out if the South Pole ever gets the sun?
I will.
So even if the South Pole gets the sun, it's the crater in the South Pole that we are trying to go there, right? So if there is a valley, even if there is a valley, you can get sunlight. But if the valley itself is in the South Pole, the surrounding mountains will block
This
off that light.
crater thingy actually just reminds me of a very interesting point. As in, there is this possibility that Mars might have life, or it has a possibility of
Yes,
sustaining
yes.
life.
In the Mars, it's
In
North
the-
Pole. Yeah.
Not North Pole really. There is supposed to be this very deep crater on Mars, where you're going to be
There
having,
is
let's
a
say,
5-degree tilt.
Not much. For Earth, we have 23.5 degree tilt.
5 times.
That's also thanks to the moon, as far as I understand, right? Because the original collision of the moon, our axis ka jo, the bent of the axis that we have is because of the original collision that caused the moon. Is one of those things. From the formation of the moon, the angle quite changed.
I'm
But this
not
thing,
sure.
this thing
I'm not
about-
sure. This also we have to recheck this.
What is this obsession again that we have from ancient cultures?
Right.
Of the moon. Moon is literally, I'm a Hindu, so I can only speak about Hinduism. We have Amavasya, we have Paurnami, we have everything is on the phases of the moon.
Well, that's true for
For
Islam
religion.
as well. The entire calendar is based on lunar calendar.
Even in Islam.
Especially
Not just for
Mayan.
Islam. You've seen this.
Especially
पाकिस्तान के
Islam.
फ्लैग में तो आपने तो देखा है ना
So
सर.
forget about all
पाकिस्तान के
those.
फ्लैग में what to say, Malaysia's flag, Indonesia's flag, Saudi Arabia's flag. You see the crescent moon and all of those, na?
Forget about all those. Look at our calendar. Our calendar is based on moon. 1 month is 1 moon day. Like not exactly, precisely, but calendar is based on that.
what about Mayans? Do they used to follow lunar this one?
Actually, Mayans also used to follow Aztecs.
This
also
is
used to
a
follow
this
moon.
is a
What
proof of
is, what is the connection between waves and moon? I've never.
It's
So,
not
yeah.
waves, but tides.
Tides.
Yeah.
Tidal waves.
Right. So here, if you see the solid part, whatever continents are there, they cannot move. The oceans is full of water, right? So normally, just imagine the sun and earth. So the whole thing is under gravity. Now the moon is coming in between and going around earth.
Correct.
So this guy pulls off the water to himself. Moon.
The gravity.
Yeah.
But isn't the gravity on Earth more than?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is why the water is still with
Still on Earth.
our is still on moon. And half of our problem would have been solved. No need to go there. Chandrayaan to check with that. So, as you said, Amavasya and this Paurnami, so the movement. So as you can see, oceans are lots of water. So the tidal waves, the height, rising and falling are significant. So if you leave your car in the parking space, when you come back, it will be there. But if you leave the same boat, you got a boat and leave it there, it might not be there if you won't anchor it, because the water will go back, it will take back the boat with it, right? So these amounts are significant, but if you see in us, we are around 70, more than 70% of water. So because of the movement of that moon, there are slight changes in our body. Water, the gravitational force on water changes, but now we people are not that sensitive to that.
Would that be the science behind werewolves actually? I mean, the myth of the
Might
werewolves.
be. And this is common, among many civilizations.
Ah,
So everyone is feeling something common.
But we do not know
So
what.
I want to say something very, very non-scientific here, right? But there is something about the full moon that does something to us, right? Great poetries have been written on full moon, right? Almost half of world literature, any language, I'm not saying Hindi, English, any language, would have mention of moon as this thing that we consider with love, with affection, all of those things. Yeah?
even
There is
named an
something.
element after it, man.
Huh?
Even named an element after
Huh.
it,
Which
So-
is
selenium.
oh,
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
sorry, please.
what is the connection between selenium and this?
Not exactly sure actually. I just know it's named after.
This language is
Prashant sir, unwittingly gives up.
Some information popped in the brain.
I'm talking about any language in the world, right? Great poetries have happened on this idea of full moon. We know for a fact that during full moons, some behavior patterns change. People have mood swings.
people might be feeling pleasant on that day.
Oh,
One is the light and
But this is not
Disclaimer-
pure scientific. This is
disclaimer,
not pure
viewers.
science.
These are not now. They are not my colleagues, teachers who are speaking. I do not know whether it is science, pseudoscience. You could Google it and figure out for yourself. But you know what? Just to conclude, I think the rover will take 2 more hours. You want to talk about tides?
So, just thinking about gravity perspective, no matter what element you have, whether it's water, blood, iron, your coffee, everything attracts. Gravity doesn't care what your element is. It only
Correct.
cares about what your mass is.
Correct.
So the reason why tides occur on Earth is not just because moon pulls it, because oceans, because oceans are a connected body.
Correct.
Moon doesn't only pull, but it also squeezes from here so that everything rises. So if water is just rising, why don't the water in a lake rise up? Water only rises up in the tides will occur only in the ocean, not in the lakes. It occurs only
Why?
in seas.
Why?
Why? Because lakes are not a connected body. The gravitational
actually
effect
small.
that it has
If we
is
have-
negligible. It doesn't have any tidal effect. The tidal effect comes because of the push and also due to the squeeze. Because you are pushing it here.
It's
there is
almost
a-
like a squeeze.
Exactly.
Ball.
Exactly. When you squeeze it, that's why oceans are getting bulkier.
Okay, that's
Or
my
That's
bulky.
sister.
actually
That's your sister.
Yeah, that's my sister, my cousin sister.
What are you doing here? Your sister is so talented.
She's right on me. Right on me.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
nice, dude.
What does your sister need to study to get there, and what?
She's an engineer. She's an aeronautical engineer.
So you need to be aeronautical engineer to get into this.
No, not only that, but like she works in as an aeronautical engineer in the.
Is she still there?
No, she was there in the
In the
to
group.
that for a short time. in the last one.
What do you need to study to get into ISRO?
So many people think that if you love space and if you study physics, maths, and become a astrophysics enthusiast, you will get into ISRO. But that's completely not correct. Because to go to moon or to basically launch a rocket, you need engineering skills.
Right.
It's a vehicle that you are designing. It's not the science that you are studying there. So if you want to take the data and do research on it and to get something new, so after the rocket has launched, we take the samples and get the data. The data will be analyzed by the scientists. They will discover new things. The job of ISRO is to make us go there. It's like a delivery boy,
Yeah.
basically.
Is it okay if I give a shameless plug-in for our course, bro? See,
No, bro, it's
the
all right.
simple reality here is the IIT JEE examination actually serves as the entryway, one of the pathways to the Indian Institute of Space and Technology, which is there in Trivandrum.
Yeah.
And not sure whether it's in Trivandrum, Kerala, man. And that is one of the places from which ISRO does recruit, budding engineers.
But you know, talking of IIT JEE, let me conclude.
one of the insights that dawned on me is while we study, we say if you fail, we call him a failure. You're not good at studies, you're not good at anything, da 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 da. Da. But in science, when I saw the ISRO chairman saw last time, if I would have been that person, or if I were the kid in school, that would have been my last day in school. But what I see now is failure is one of the most essential ingredients in science. If you do not fail, you do not get better.
Yes.
But what we're doing with our kids is actually ulta. If we fail, we're saying, "Bas, you stop. You're not good at science. You're not good at math."
Correct. She's a.
Hey.
Yeah, this is a Putudi.
What's her name? Tell me. Maybe you're lying.
Putudi. This is
Putudi.
a
Okay.
beach
Putudi. Congratulations. We are very proud of you. Next time, make him also prepare well for IIT JEE. But thanks so much, guys. This was so fun.
I wanna finish this with a very small poem.
Poem.
Very small.
Okay.
Like
A love story for the moon.
yeah.
Do you want me
So
to
most
play
of the
harmony?
poetry, the most of the poetry that we hear on Moon is very romantic and all of this. This is not a romantic poetry. This is a poetry which is very, very related to where and how we look at the moon as a scientific community. Right? It goes Ekluvya. Ekluvya means one moon. Asankhya tare.
Asankhit?
Asankhya tare. Infinite stars. Neel Gagan ke khule kiwade. Kiwade means doors. Neel Gagan is Neel, the blue sky is opening the air. So I'll read this again. Ikla Chand, Asankhya tare, Neel Gagan ke khule kiwade.
Kiwade.
Koi हमको
Kiwade means the bolt.
गोल्ड वाला डोर, the gold वाला डोर. कोई हमको कहीं पुकारे, हम आएंगे बाहें पसारे. On moon.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Bahe pasare means
Open
Open arms.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Super, guys. We'll all die, but we'll remember this.
Yes,
Yes.
certainly.
It's just the start, I guess.
Can we? Are we still live? Are we still live? But we have concluded the program, so I think we
Yeah.
should get off.
Guys, do tell us